Hello, sir.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm Shantanu, sir. I'm saying that can I start the session now, sir, with your permission?
Oh, sure.
Sir. So, good morning to all the participants and the respected sir. On the behalf of the organizing committee, National Institute of Technology, Arunachal Pradesh, I may like to start the first session of the second day of this FDP program. Starting as we have once again Professor B.K. Chakravarti from IIT Bombay School of Design. Yesterday only, he has taken a very interesting, interactive, and innovating session on the way to build, make a solution out of the problem given us. Basically, taught us the mindset to design a product for the task slash objective given. Then he has shared a very good experience of himself for making clean and purifying water for CRPF Jawans. Now, I may request our honorable speaker to start off this session. Please, Professor B.K. Chakravarti. Thank you.
So, good morning, colleagues and students. It's very nice to get back to you again today. We had some wonderful sessions yesterday from Praveen Nahar and from my other colleague from IIT Guwahati. You also saw that design thinking is particular, methodology, way of life. We have to really, extend ourselves to those activities. So today I would, like to, good morning, all of you. I would like to share, and we would like to participate in a very interesting, simple synaptics activity a little later. While I warm up with you with some very, very challenging case studies which I did earlier. So let me now quickly show you share the case study where we have worked on various like sort of projects ranging from like our the post boxes for India Post, where such a simple product. See, for example, we need so much of creativity. Today's whole session is on our creative endeavors. We are looking at how creativity can be enhanced by various design thinking methods. See, all the design thinking methods are actually creative methods. They're from the start, from the way you sketched yesterday. As soon as you sketch, your creativity jumps. As soon as you model, make things, your creativity jumps. So more and more, we need to encourage, of course, our ourselves and our colleagues and students to actually sketch and make models. Because of model making, the prototyping or the mock-ups we call, we further improve. So I'm going to show you again another very interesting case study, but I'll just take you through a little bit of journey how we did. Then I'll run a video for you, then show you the creativity aspect in that, and of course make a small assignment with all of you on a spoon, and then we will show you some more assignments which the colleagues have done on spoons. So just to begin with, I would like to showcase my 7 concerns of innovation. That is a very, very important journey which was always there for my sort of journey which I had along the whole 25 years of experience. So the first concern, as I rightly told you, is the concern which is the cause, where you stand for a cause, saying that I'm going to like stand for to design such a product or such a system for my company or for myself, whatever areas you're going to look at. So I will quickly run through this through a very interesting case study where I stood for a cause that I'm going to change this letterbox, in the country, the India Post letterbox, and I will quickly show you some slides there of how this particular letterbox was next to the IIT place, and I call it the first cause. And of course, from there, we moved on to understanding the context. Remember, I was telling you, understanding context, we have to move out of our comfort zone. Design thinking, very, very valuable. I can, in fact, call it these the 7 concerns of design thinking, that, you need to go out of your comfort zone. You need to go into the, areas where your context is, and understand the actual scenario over there. What are the, critical factors? What are their livelihoods? What are their, method of working? For example, look at this, interesting thing. We are designing a letterbox, but we are also checking out what's happening with letter sorting in the post box. in the post office, in the main unit. So we understand the people's attitudes, we understand people's skills, we understand how the letters reach the destination, and all those are a very, very important component for our design learning. And similarly, we then understand the problem and take insights. Rusting boxes are a big no-no. Your letters are getting spoiled, so that's a comprehension. I'll show you all this in a very nice video a little later. And then, of course, we come up with a check where we have to very clearly have a direction, because I took this course that I'm going to design this, post box, and letterbox, and change the face of India Post. And of course, then we came up with this check saying that it should be maintenance free for so many years, and it should be sort of long life. Robust manufacturing, all the problem insights which we gained, we converted into a check, because check is like a blueprint for where are you going? Because a number of times we don't have this very, very strong sort of check. So we actually digress and we have a wrong design in place and won't be successful. So a check becomes very, very important. And of course, after that, the next important phase is our conception. In fact, today's whole session is about conception, because creativity is the hallmark for innovation. Creativity is the hallmark for design thinking. So how can we be more creative? Sketching, of course, bringing out ideas, but even to bring out and sketch ideas, you need to have very, very good methods with you. Like we, of course, know the brainstorming method. We, of course, know today I'm going to teach you another method called the synectics, and you really like this, and we will do that, along with our, with all of you in a small assignment. So here, for example, you can see just for the letterbox for India Post, we made so many ideas, and of course, we selected 3 of them. This is called the conception, and then we went for the crafting, where we built mock-ups and prototypes, installed them in the field, and then, of course, we did the connection, went back to India Post, and got it launched in the country. So anyway, you'll see some more surprising factors when I show you the actual video. So this is the part of our journey where very, very clearly we understood the 7 concerns. The 7 concerns of innovation, which are innovation by design, which are inbuilt into the activities of the program. So so let us quickly now go through the video. So I'll share one video where it's for half an hour, where you would be getting the complete picture of what's what. I will be stopping in the middle also to highlight some of the points which are very, very critical in the factor. So here we are. So this is the whole case study on the on this letterbox for India Post, and how we actually looked at the creative journey. You should really, really focus on and have a look. And I compiled this so that I can arrange everything for you in a very, very quick way. So and I will of course dwell in the middle to help you to understand. So I'll show you this intricate journey of how your product can fail. And once the product fails, how getting back onto track is extremely difficult. And what are the very important aspects we must consider so that we don't reach that stage of failure. So I will again like to take you back to our 7 concerns of innovation, especially showcasing this 7 concerns from point of view of aspects of the post box itself. So like I was mentioning to you, we got to check up the 7 concerns of innovation by design. We checked that we stood for a cause, where we said we will look at the rusting post boxes, change the design so that it's convenient for the users. We can make it with better materials, and also make it more comfortable for installation, as well as sort of good for the postman to collect the letters, and as well as the end user to post the letters. So multiple levels of problems were identified, and we solved all that. So we also went and understood the context, who actually is the one who is collecting the letters, what are his problems, what are posting the letters, what are the scenarios around, what are the problems in installation of post boxes when there are muddy areas as well as concrete surfaces. We also looked at the other aspects of posts, where how they collect letters, how many letters are coming nowadays. Are the letters completely personal or business letters coming in? So we understood the whole context. And then we went ahead and sort of checked the understanding of both the context and the cause, and found out that current key aspects, this post box, we have to very clearly understand. As I already shared this, I will go forward so that we could we'll go a little forward and check what's happening. As concrete surfaces. We also looked at the other aspects of posts. Sorry, there's a little bit of lag here. Our brief, where we said it has to be maintenance free. Remember, there's one line brief given by our Postmaster General. We said that's maintenance free. So even when I fail in the product development stages, I cannot compromise on the points of the brief. So it has to be a maintenance free box. It has to use contemporary materials. If today's materials are like plastics and stainless steel and mild steel and powder coating, I would use those type of processes for my manufacturing. The product has to be very robust because it's in the public domain. Robust means it has to be strong, it has to be installed. It has to be modular because you need to have areas where there are people posting a number of letters, and some places there less traffic. So you need to have a smaller and a larger box. At the same time, you have to do design so that you can amortize the cost. And we call it modular design, where you can use some parts common and some parts big. And then last but not the least, we said, India Post is growing. They also want to be in the field. They're also becoming a very good organization. So why can't we think of creating a unique identity for India Post? This unique identity is very interesting. It also is an identity point of view of what we think from design. And when you have a new product, the identity becomes very important. And I'll show you while we go in the journey forward. So then we came up with these ideas, very clear, how we amalgamated ideas and came up with concepts. And then how we chose the final sort of concept and took it to manufacturing. Today we are going to discuss these analogies a lot. So I just want to give you this little warm-up video, and after that we would get into the assignment of how we do these creative assignments where you actually pick up, even for a very serious product from an engineering enterprise or to a very small consumer product like a spoon, you can use analogies to come up with to leapfrog your creativity to somewhere around 2 to 4 times your creativity. Then to our surprise, as soon as we produced 20, we got an order for 200. So tell me now, once we have an order for 200, will my old top, which is made out of hand lay process, work for me? It will not. So I'll have to think of innovative ways of manufacturing the top again. Luckily, the stainless steel fabrication was anyway high quality CNC production. So it had all the components which you could produce through CNC manufacturing. So that was still there. So we went ahead back in our journey, went back to concept again. And then we tried a number of options. Remember, I was always telling you, we need to have at least 3 options before you decide what type of process to use. Can you see that white top? What do you think the material is there in that box which you see on the slide? The bottom is steel on the top. It was supposed to be plastic, but then I had to produce 200 numbers. So I said, can I try aluminum casting? So this is the aluminum casting top. We tried aluminum casting too, because now I had to produce 200 numbers, and casting is a very good process to produce 200 numbers. And again, batch production, very convenient. We tried this and we found it very expensive. We also found it very heavy. So we didn't go ahead with this idea. Then we said, this is the sand casting process, where you make a mold and then you pour molten aluminum and then you get your, one piece top. And then we said, let me try
a next technique of low-cost tooling called vacuum thermoforming. So what is this process? You have a sheet of plastic, you heat it to the temperatures where it becomes like a cloth, and you wrap it around the mold by vacuum. So you have the surface and you suck the air out of the surface, it sticks to the surface of the die, and that is how the forming is done. In the cavity also you suck, it adheres to the cavity and you get this tray which is available. So we use the same technique to make the next level. So in this process, we had to go and get the raw material also. Luckily, we were happy that GE Plastics collaborated, so we got this granules. The plastic is made in the form of granules, and we made sheet out of those granules by extrusion. What is the extrusion process? You heat the granules and you extrude out of a thin slit, and you get these slabs of plastic. So we extruded the sheet. Why do we need to extrude the sheet? Because nobody has this red color. We had to get the granules, we had to extrude the sheet on our own, and then we made these dies, the 3-part die. And finally, you cut all the parts together and we joined it using the best adhesives from Huntsman manufacturer adhesives, who makes it really, stronger than a virgin material. Today, adhesives are very, very high tech. You have very, very good adhesives in the market, which are as good as the original material. And then we have now the composite to thermoforming top, lightweight, formed out of 3 parts. There's one part, there's a front part, and this is the flap which goes in. And this, again, was very, very mass manufacturable to a level of 200 numbers. So we, using the cost, again, see the whole business when you come to large volumes like 200 numbers is cost. What type of tooling cost and what type of production cost. And because we're working with the government, it was very difficult for us to convince that please give me an upfront tooling cost and then give me the production cost. They can't do that. So they said, no, you said that the post box is going to cost 8,000 rupees. We can't give you more than that. So we have to work out innovative ways of pilot production of how we went ahead with making the top. You can see one of the boxes sporting the top. So here we have the tops ready. Then we made all the drawings ready. You can see how engineering drawings are made with all the details. And this is the assembly drawing. This is the drawing of the base. You see the small indentations to make the stainless steel very strong, and how the whole situation was taken forward, and then how the fabrication was, drawing was, made. And remember, I was talking about embossing on the post box to make it very strong. So we reduced the cost by 3,000 rupees by reducing the thickness of the stainless steel. So what we did was we used, this work hardening property by doing constant bending. The stainless steel edge, the corner, which was the most important, became very strong, and we reduced the thickness of the stainless steel sheet from 1.6 millimeters to 1.2 millimeters and saved around 3 kilos of stainless steel. We have these embossings, which makes the surface very strong. So we use the embossing, we use the bending, and made the product, very, very strong. So from these, then, we went ahead and we, went for pilot production. See how through laser, you can cut very intricate shapes for your profiles. And this is where you can get all the rounds, the rectangular cuts, and you can take it for fabrication, where you get flat sheets. You take the flat sheets to this machine to do the bending. What is very interesting about CNC bending operation is that this bending operation is very, very intricate and very accurate. Stainless steel has a property of spring back. If you bend 90 degrees, finally you'll land up with some 87 or 86. So this machine has the capability, a computer, to calculate the material properties of stainless steel. You can feed in the grades, the 304, and it will bend exactly 90 degrees. It has that capability of calculating and bending. And I also told you that to get this radius, we had 22 strokes. So it did the 22 strokes on the machine to get this radius. So by 22 strokes, what do I get? I get more strength, more rigidity. And where do I need strength and rigidity? On the corners. Those are the areas where the damages can occur. That also I found it from the factory. That's why factory visit and materials understanding is very, very important. So it was fabricated. So then
So again, from point of view of design thinking, in product development, because our whole course is called product development and design thinking, you saw how we develop the product. I've not showed you the concept generation part. That I will give you the online link where you can see the whole thing. But the product development part, where we very clearly see that where did we get this idea of work hardening? I had studied it when I was a mechanical engineer, like some of your mechanical engineers here, that work hardening can happen in stainless steel, but that application, that creative application comes only when you're in the factory. In fact, while I was in the factory, I was watching them do a door where they're doing some ribs on the door in the stainless steel factory, and I said, "Wow, the ribs on the door are giving strength. So why don't we do the indentations on the box?" So all the creative inputs, the creative input when it comes from the bird of a beak to the bird of to the beak of your letterbox was direct analogy. Bird of a beak, acceptance. In this case, stainless steel ribbing, again, use stainless steel for your thing, again, a direct analogy. So these analogies can give you tremendous amount of creative research. I'm going to show you the other types of analogies which are going to give you much more, creativity, and we'll do a small assignment, within another 10 minutes after this lecture.
We, had this interesting process of, getting the raw material manufactured. So we also got this scotch bright finish. You can see this dull finish manufactured in Jindal stainless steel. Then we got the plastic, as I showed you, manufactured by G Plastics. We, got it specifically tailor-made manufacturing for us. Then we made this, rust-proof locks from Godrej, because when we went during our survey, we found out the locks were rusting. Then we went for CNC manufacturing, very, very high quality manufacturing with, again, Jindal architecture. Then, as I told you earlier, we got the best adhesives so that there's no chance that these things will open up in the field, because they have to be really, really strong. And then when you bolt it to the floor, there's a lot of technology in bolting where you use anchor bolts for bolting the box to the floor. And that also is a very large technology of expansion anchor bolts, which are bolted to the floor. So we went to the best companies to get this thing done. And then we implemented the 200 number. It was a great, experience to see the whole factory full of these boxes in Jindal. I was in the factory. We had quality control, from IDC. So we had our staff flying to Delhi, checking out whether the quality is right, all the systems are working properly. And finally, we dispatched 200 numbers, to different parts of the country. So it was installed all over the country, from Jammu and Kashmir to Kanyakumari to Guwahati, and we waited for the results. So this first dispatch, India Post is a government organization. It's a ministry, so very, very sensitive to feedback. We were also pretty happy because of very good results. The first 20 were put up in 5 different locations: Mumbai, Delhi, Patna, and Chennai. But what went wrong with us was, from our design process, was there was no rural area. It was all put up in cities. So what type of feedback did I get? Excellent, very good. You saw all those newspaper clippings? Like past imperfect, future perfect, whatever. All those great feedback we got. But then what happened when we made 200 numbers? When we put 200 numbers in the field, they went to all the remote locations. Because what happens when you give individual post offices, they only put up these boxes wherever there's a need. And wherever there's a requirement, there's a waiting list. So as soon as the 10 new boxes went, and the waiting list could be in the district areas, in the rural areas, and everywhere. And then we got the right feedback. Most of the population is in the rural areas and district headquarters. And from people-centered point of view, the design identification was, not thought of. And then we got a user feedback where large number of users could not recognize the box. So after doing this whole story, you realize what type of shock we can come to if you don't keep the larger user base in our mind. We got a feedback of around 60 to 70% of the post officers said people are not able to identify our post box. There's a double-edged sword here. When you send one box somewhere to a remote area, there's hardly any identification because all the other boxes are round. And there's no advertising. There is no information processing. There was no paper articles like the cities. So there we, fell back on. And then the long-standing image. See, this is again very important. The post boxes are classic product which stayed for 40 to 50 years in the field. So there's an ingrained image of the box in the minds of the people. And the paint companies sell paint by calling post office red. You heard about it? Post office red. It's so important. And the red color was very critical. Stainless steel confused the switching. A lot of people came from rural areas to cities. Even in the suburban areas, some of the people got confused, saying that it could be a dustbin because dustbins were using stainless steel very heavily. The city environment. In the city environment, there were dustbins and there were post box and stainless steel. So they would confuse it with dustbins. large things in the metros and all. So it's a very, very shocking revelation for us, but we took it in our stride. We said, this is the mandate of the people, and we need to, be humble and understand people's needs more closely before we go ahead with our design journey. So then we went to Ministry of Posts again. They got a feedback. They had a board meeting in which they said, oh no, we don't want to change our round look. We want it round. Let Professor Growth design better manufacturing using round shape. Why should we change the shape to rectangular or square? So, we fell flat on our face. Then they said redesign the same modular and good manufacturing, CNC and all using round shape. And all other features were appreciated. Everything else is good. It's excellent, new manufacturing, because today materials are new. Use stainless steel, no problem. But retain a round shape. So they sent a letter to me, now design a round one. So where are we back now? From pilot production, we fell back to mock-up. This is the third time we're moving here. So that's a big challenge. So now look at this. Make a round shape, use the same high-tech rolling machines, get a flat front, and we went with this model. We made a small model. This time we were careful. We made a small scale model, the size of 15 centimeter scale, and we took this model to India Post, directly to the ministry, to Delhi.
See, all of you are noticing how much the design thinking aspects comes in every time. The mock-ups, the prototypes, the design details. If you're not really very carefully identified your user segment, large user segment, and you're taking feedback only from who is available close to you in the cities, it doesn't work. Products which are large multi-domain products like the like the letterbox, you need to really understand the larger user segments needs. And of course, the synergy of the India Post, where would they advertise, would they make people aware of a new box? All those things are very, very critical. In the same breath, I could say that in the Z line we changed the semantic, and the L&T was very successful because they did tremendous amount of advertising in the Indian oil companies. Here it's a different story altogether. It's no longer L&T, it is India Post. So how do you go about doing this? So all these things are extremely critical for us in our design thinking and innovation journey.
And they said, no, we told you round. There's a flat front. I said, how does it matter? Flat front is convenient for people to take out letters, right? If you open a flat door, it's convenient to take out letters, so we put the flat front. They said, no. Now they become very rigid. We want round as round. Now we are facing the music. We said, okay, we'll make a round design, and we redesigned using the same materials, better manufacturing, and went back. I'll show you how we went ahead making the CAD models, the whole structure, the different parts in that, the landings, the door in round shape, the top posting slot in an interesting shape to match the overall configuration of the post box. You can see how we made the base also now with a rigid structure inside with a round, round base. We could have had a square base, but we didn't want to take any chances. And then we suddenly got a call again from Delhi that we have got this Commonwealth Games happening. And there's a large exhibition, and we need to put up this new round box in the exhibition. So from CAD modeling, we had to rush to prototyping. They wanted a single piece. We got all the stuff out. We went to local craftsmen and look at that sheet that looks rusted, but when it's treated, it becomes shining. So they rolled. That's a rolling machine on which you roll your sheet. Then you do all the fabrication by welding. All the surfaces are all welded together. Then you do the painting. We did the painting processes, painted them after treatment so that there's no rusting inside. And then we did the top, the round top. We've learned our lesson. So we did the hinges, the doors, the details, pretty tough. We had the whole team to work on this. We had experts, we had a team of 10 people working on this at that time. And then we put up one near our main building just for photography. And, we sent this prototype to Delhi. And they put up in the exhibition. The secretaries were very happy. The directors were very happy in India Post. I said, wow, this is the in thing. And then interesting thing happens. The secretary also retired. So we were again in a fix. We waited for a long time, 6 months. We waited. No result came up. And then a new secretary came up who knew our work earlier. So he contacted us and said, what's happening to your post box? He asked me. I said, my God, this is interesting. Let me get back to my old design. So I leapfrogged to my old design. I said, I have the box. There's a problem only with the red color. I just painted red and it's going to work for you. And I'm going to change the top to a rounded top, marry the old and the new, and it will be work. We put the old and the new during Tech Fest exhibition in IIT. And then we called this man from Delhi. He came and inaugurated the, sort of exhibition. So here we have again the square box painted red, because there's an advantage of manufacturing in square. You fold it very easily rather than rolling. And then, we sort of, did the tooling now. Now what happened is, by that time we realized that on the 200 boxes, when the plastic top went, people thought that they could recycle the plastic. So people were actually stealing the plastic tops. Geloi is a difficult material to recycle. They were not able to sell it, but nevertheless, they would put a bamboo rod inside and whack it out and go and sell it. Plastic was not going to work, so we went back. We said we'll make a metal top, bolt it to the to the structure so that nobody can sort of take it away. So this is the tooling. Now my team from IDC started working. We made a die, this metal die. We did deep drawing. Deep drawing is a process where you have a sheet metal and you have a large press which presses the sheet metal to get the shapes. All your car bodies are deep drawn. The rounded shapes of your car bodies, the large tooling and dies, but this is a very small one for us. So we did these metal tops. So this is the top. And this top, what is interesting in this top is it's got a feel of the old and the new. The square is from the new design. And red color. So we best part design. We did the deep drawing metal, painted it, and wrote the whole book on the design. Read through to see the whole story of how. So I think it's a good way. You have engineering strengths coming in, manufacturing strengths coming in, and a lot of innovation from point of view of contemporary materials, from plastics to metal to stainless steel. So finally, what we did was, because the stainless steel is not using the shining property, right? And that is a costliest part of the stainless steel, which is called nickel. So we now have a material which is low nickel stainless steel. So in the we have a low nickel stainless steel, and on the low nickel stainless steel, we are doing powder coating. So there's one more protection. So now that is going to work very well in this aspect. So I thought I'll just show you this total journey, because this reached a stage of pilot production, going back to original concepts. And the to and fro happened nearly 3 times, and still we are waiting for our sort of approval to go into mass scale production.
So there we go. So very, very interesting journey from product development point of view and design thinking, where you saw in the product development process, like how we went about, doing all the, all the aspects. So, colleagues, now I would like to quickly, open the, I would like to, ask you, for some feedback. I will also share the earlier video later on with Shubhajit. He'll get you the video where the whole design process was there, where all the sketching and all. Yesterday was the sketching aspect, so I didn't show you how the design was done with various intentions, but I'll share the whole lecture series with you. But it is very, very important for us to understand how we need to go about understanding materials, understanding processes, understanding and bringing the user feedback very, very closely. So I would like to take some questions now, and then we'll go back to our creativity. Today's whole session is about creativity. Every creative aspect comes from various stages. We will talk about creativity also today. In another few minutes. Can I quickly ask some of you to just join in, and please let me know your reactions to the product development process in design thinking, where I showed you all the stages. You can also put your comments on the chat, police students, in case you have something to say. And we can also quickly switch on your mic and talk. Let me see why my chat is open now. Yeah. So Dr. Geeta Kiran says it's tremendous design. Yeah, it's a lot of design, but you also saw how we failed. Like we have to be really understand that the context, the synergy. In fact, I teach every time in my class that you have to understand the synergy of the company you're working for. When you're working for L&T, you have to understand what L&T stands for. When you're working for India Post, you have to understand what India Post stands for. And when we designed for India Post, we took a completely different user segment, which is the cities, and eliminated 90% of the users and failed. So it's very very, very interesting for us to see how we need to inculcate the values of user testing very, very closely. User perception and testing is a very important component. Yeah.
Sir, Shovan here.
Yeah. Shovan, tell me.
Yeah, what is the complete design cycle from sketch to final, the final product, what it has been produced and in the market kind of thing? Complete design cycle.
Yeah, Shubhan, remember I was showing you all the valleys, the various various valleys I showed you in the I'll just see if I can have a presentation somewhere. Yeah, here it is. Remember I showed you the pitfalls in the innovation process. Are you able to see the screen?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah. So you're not yet. I'll just share it right now with you. So what happens is it's always the valleys of in the design process. You have the ideation, you have the sketching, all that happened in the design process, right? You're able to see this screen now.
Yeah, sir. True.
So, remember we talked about the design phase where you have the ideas, and then from the ideas you need to collaborate to make working prototypes. You have to collaborate then to make a pilot production of 10, 20, and every time you're doing user studies over there. You're checking when you make a prototype, you check with users, some users at least. When you make pilot product, you check with users. In all these stages, Shovan, you have a very important stage of sketching, mock-up models, and prototypes. Remember I showed you in the letterbox very clearly?
Yes,
every time we failed, we went back into mock-up. That small model we made, we went back and again did a prototype, again did a pilot production. So, the whole process is very clear because we're talking about product development in this course very closely. I want to show you this real example, but, I can also share with you the, portal, the SWAYAM portal where we have the innovation design course where we explain this, threadbare to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
So this is a process, like the first one, as I rightly said, this is the first stage where you're talking from design to prototype, and of course prototype to product planning, and going back pilot production, and of course pilot production to mass production. Where you also yesterday, if you're there, Shovan, we talked about how at each stage the valleys become deeper and the equipment changes. Here you're using a pole vault. So your skill is very important. Here you're using a hot air balloon or a like balloon to to go forward, and here you're using an aeroplane. So when you go to mass production, it's an analogy. The amount of effort, amount of money, amount of people you need changes quite a bit. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Quite interesting.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
I want to ask, sir, is there any way we can, so as we saw in the example, 3 to 4 times we had to take user feedback, and according to that changes were made in the product.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can reduce this amount of back and forth? And
very good question, Andy. Very good question. Actually, sometimes I doubt myself. Am I a good professor? Am I a good teacher? मेरा तो इतना failure होता है market में. So so it's very interesting. So if you can really follow the design thinking process where you got very in-depth empathy with the user, the right type of user, and understand, for example, very clearly they talk about in the process, they really talk about in the design thinking, as we rightly said, you need to be very closely linked to the user segment, and understand the manufacturing processes which you're going to use. So you have to have all these things together. So if you are very focused, for example, see, if you're arrogant, see, being a professor, maybe I was arrogant, I didn't go do my testing in the rural areas, for example. If I had done my testing in the rural areas, I would have known day one that this is not going to work in the rural areas. If you ask out of the blue anybody, अरे ये post box लगता है क्या, तो आराम से बोलेगा नहीं लगता है. You don't need rocket science to get to know. So we very clearly we see that these are the important stages for our development process, and we need to respect the design thinking process. And even sometimes being at my level, I can fail. For example, I may have some shortcomings. So we need to keep our design. In fact, when I was a young student like you, I was very focused on my design methods or design thinking. Now, because I'm a professor, sometimes I take shortcuts and fail. You got it. So
Right.
there's no way that we can take shortcuts in the design thinking process. Your empathy with the user, your empathy to the level of whether his perception is matching or not. See, I was so stuck upon that stainless steel. I said, see, my logic didn't allow me to do it. अरे stainless steel है, उसको पेंट की जरूरत नहीं, पेंट क्यों करना है? आप समझ रहे हो ना? वो
Yes, sir.
मालूम मैं फंस गया था. That was a complete error. पेंट कर रहे हैं क्योंकि मेरा यूजर को रिकॉग्निशन नहीं हो पाता. We're painting because of that reason, and then our things become much clearer. So Nandini, there is no shortcut. Sometimes failure is a part of learning. So we can in a design process we've seen that there are always failures, and when we have to always learn and take things forward. But always to avoid these things, we have to use our collaborative. Tomorrow we're going to talk to the about the collaborative design and also talk to you people separately. So that will happen, where we can understand how we can collaborate much more effectively from day one.
Right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah. Following.
Well, yeah.
So following.
Anybody else?
Yeah. Next question. Like, what is the good approach? Right. You should go with a thorough research at the first time to reduce the multiple iterations, or we should go at fail fast method, like fail it as fast as possible and get to another iteration, which is better.
Very nice question. Very nice question, Usmina. In fact, I use this technique, fail fast technique quite a bit with our first year students, where we design something without doing much of user study, go and put there and take user reactions and come back and design again. So, so fail fast, they say that's also the startup mode. They said fail fast, go there, put up your product, fail fast. But actually, if you do a thorough, design thinking, you will not fail. So, that will be a good, way to do things. Of course, very good understanding of the, user, very good empathy with the user without having all the baggage of, being a designer, design professor, and things like that, and not seeing what the user wants. See, our eyes we wear glasses. That's the whole problem. We have to be transparent to the needs of the user until we don't reach that stage of empathy with the user community, which could be very large. See, we're working with a large user community, so that becomes a very big challenge for all of us.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so very nice. So now we will go with our creativity. So students, I was just saying that creativity is again a hallmark. The more creative we are, the less failure, right? Because you'll get a very great idea. Sometimes the more creative and out of the box you are, more failure, right? Because your other systems won't support you, right? Because they don't know how to handle those materials. They don't know how to handle the things. In fact, Merlin was asking, how to understand materials and process. You don't need to, because I had knowledge of materials and process. I did all these mistakes. The less information you have, sometimes it's better for you to take things forward because you're stuck with your earlier experiences both ways. If you have earlier experiences, they can be very useful for you. Sometimes your earlier experiences, they can be detrimental to you. So you have to really understand how to, get those things cleared and, of course, take things forward. And time and finance. Please, when you are going to startup mode, for example, we talk about design thinking here. Tomorrow we'll talk about collaborative design, where we have to bring in a complete team of people. If you're working for an NGO or a company, you bring a complete team of people because there's a chat question here. And then when you bring a full team, you have your finance team also as part of your innovation team. So they know from day one, when in 1 year, I need to buy these 4 machines. Otherwise, I can't make this new product. If I don't make this new product in 5 years, I'm out of the market. Right? Very clear. So how many of you know this company called Voltas refrigerators? A lot of you, right? In fact, when I went to Voltas factory in Hyderabad 15 years back, one of the best, fridge factories. You all know those refrigerators, they're the market. They didn't do anything for 15 years. And then Samsung came with their refrigerators and they were very popular. So tell me now, you have a huge factory which can produce, say, 5,000 to 10,000 refrigerators a day. and and you're not able to sell even one. So what would you do? You will start manufacturing for Samsung, right? So they became vendors for Samsung, and at what price? They were just getting 5% of the market. तो 5% में सैमसंग के लिए काम किया. तब क्या हो रहा है आपको बताओ? After 3 years, Samsung put up another big state-of-the-art factory, and Voltas had nowhere to go, and they sold off the company, and they stopped production. See how you have to be so vigilant, right? You have to be so vigilant with what the users want. It could be aspirations, it could be needs, it could be technology, it could be how you cool. There's so many things which are very, very important for all these things. So these are the challenges that some of our best companies are just folded up because they never woke up to the requirements of the users. Yeah.
R&D department will be there, sir.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
for
R&D, of
every
course.
company, if R&D is not
Yeah,
there.
R&D, and the R&D department will only do R&D. They will not look at the user needs.
No, sir. R&D, they will search, the task is, they will search the users, like what are the things are there. And these R&D people, they will act accordingly and they will design the modifications. Even Nokia also, why it is not, went well. Earlier, it was completely occupied the market because lacking of R&D. Completely now, Samsung is occupied that place, the place of Nokia. So because completely lacking of R&D in that department.
Janardhan, R&D is very important, but within R&D, what about departments you need? You need departments which are understanding people's aspirations and needs. We had very big R&D in Voltas refrigerators. They were excellent in cryogenics. They were one of the best compressors.
Yes, sir. That's what. Sir, without understanding people's needs, then R&D independently.
So R&D thinks technology is everything. Research is everything. Research is nothing. Till the research doesn't translate into user needs and user aspirations, your research is useless, right? So, I also work in R&Ds, Janardhan. I'm very much, without R&D.
No. Sir, industrial wise, R&D means they are bridge between that users and the technology.
So
okay, they simply alone they don't work, sir. They will take users and they will study the market.
But
they will do that, sir.
Skill sets, Janardhan. The research people who join R&Ds, they don't have the skill set to talk to users. They're not even.
Sir, I am not telling the direct researchers they're talking. Some intermediate bodies they will hire like consultancy or somebody. They will search with all the products manufacturing, other companies. So these people will bridge between that researchers and.
Today, Dr. Janardhan has brought in a very interesting thing for all of you, where we can use a lot of market research agencies. We can use a lot of user networks, social organizations to give us feedback so that we are taking the feedback and go forward. And that's how all the companies like Bajaj Auto, Bajaj Auto is able to survive today only because they used all these techniques and they've, exited the scooter market. They kept only the motorcycle market with them, like multiple things. So all that is coming from market research. So there are a lot of agencies. If you don't have internal strengths, you hire out also. Very good, Radha, to bring that out also. So now we'll quickly go to our session on creativity. Students, I'll just show you this very interesting presentation on creativity. Then we'll do one creative assignment ourselves. So, like where we all will pick up a regular, regular product. For example, I have this cup in front. If I had to redesign this cup, what would I do? Things like that. Whatever you have in the front, we'll pick up and use analogies if we can and quickly sketch up our ideas, and see whether we can share with each other. So let me show you this, very simple presentation on, innovative spoon design. Let me share with you. And here, for example, as I told you, the very, very critical aspect for any design is to, understand understand the creative process. So here we are. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we talked about, just recently we talked about our ideation, clustering ideas and things like that. I'll show you more details later on. But, now I would like to quickly show you this assignment. Here we told everybody not to do any user study. And the students were given an assignment in creativity where you're designing a spoon. And you're designing a spoon only from the creative point of view. You're coming up with out of the box ideas for the spoon, and they'll find out the applications needed. So they have to choose one of one of the topics. So this Sarang chose this spoon for a 2 to 5 year old child, and then you go ahead with your creative process. Remember, I was talking about yesterday. Professor Praveen Nahar also was talking about the spoons. I'm so happy to inform you, Praveen Nahar was my first student of IIT Delhi. He was our first batch, very, very good designer. Even at that time when he was a student, he was very passionate about the design thinking. He would do so much of mock-ups, he would do so much of building materials. And we had only 4 students in IIT Delhi when we started a program. And I'm so glad that he could share some of the design thinking techniques with you, SJ, about sketching. So here I'm going to show you a technique where the technique of analogies. Of course, analogies are going to come a little later, but here, like when you have to build so many ideas, you need to use analogies. And analogies would be, from various quarters. For example, analogy could be from, areas of, like animals. You say, oh, I want a spoon which is inspired by a camel. I want a spoon which is inspired by, how can you get an inspiration from camel? Am I thinking right, student? Do you think we can take inspiration for a camel to design a spoon? Please, some of you, please respond.
Maybe camel hump.
Yeah, camel hump. But camel, I'm just saying camel. So what am I doing in creativity when I say that I'm taking inspiration from a camel?
Like form.
Maybe the kind of
Camel neck.
flexibility, the way it walks in the sand, or like so a kid can
Or-
hold it maybe. So in that
Yeah.
sense,
But why a camel? Out of the blue, I just said camel. Why a camel?
Because maybe
Not
because of the
quite
long.
good,
Maybe
good.
because of the,
Okay, what we can say, design itself, it is there. The
Uh,
structure,
Camel is
structure
all
itself, it is
animals can
having a very nice design.
Yeah. Anyway, so I saw that center
camel,
spoon and I
camel lasts in all sorts of harsh conditions also.
Yeah. So colleagues, see, all of you are not creative. All of you are talking about logical. I was talking about illogical association. मैंने अपना मन मर्जी से camel बोला और आप लोग camel में logic ढूंढ रहे हो. So this is the challenge of creativity, colleagues and students. What happens is when we want to be creative, we have to make our mind sleep. No logic. When you do no logic, then your creativity will jump to multiple levels. So I just said camel out of the blue. I could say a donkey, I could say a cat, I could say a mouse. And if you're using all these animals to design spoons, oh God, I'm not even able to think how I can design. What will be a cat spoon be? Oh, if I'm taking inspiration from a cat, oh, the spoon will fall down or not make noise. Can that be an association? Again, I'm becoming logical because cat, when it jumps, it doesn't make noise. So when I'm taking inspiration from cat, I'm making the spoon which is flexible, which jumps and which doesn't make noise. But already I have become very creative, even at the next level of logic. First, there is no logic to select. Second, I'm trying to build logic, trying to build association of what type of spoon I would build. And it could be various type of things. And all this I'm cooking up right now. There's no planning for all this. So here, for example, similarly, I will show you some very, very interesting examples also. After I finish the spoons, I'll show you the clips and, like where you build multiple ideas just because you take random analogies. Then, of course, you can take analogies which are not random, which are direct analogies. Give me an example of a direct analogy of a spoon, a mother bird feeding a baby bird. Analogy is a direct analogy, like she's holding the food and putting into the mouth of the baby bird. So holding the food. So can I get a spoon which can hold? So I have a flap spoon. You'll see some of those over here. So so I will maybe escape from here, and I will first give you the background of the analogies for creativity, so that you all can leapfrog your creative domains to at least 4 to 5 times. Close line clip. Are you able to still see the screen, students? Or do we need to share again?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet. No, I'll have to share again. I'll share again. because I shared a presentation this time again. I was not sharing a screen. Maybe I'll share a screen. That's easier. So now you'll be able to see, no?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So, I will show the spoons a little later, but I want to really give you the ideas of analogy a little bit more carefully so that you all know brainstorming is very famous. You use brainstorming very heavily where you build a lot of ideas that a lot of people, teach brainstorming. It's available on the net. But synectics is very important for product designers, communication designers and all. So I thought I'll, teach you the synectics way and use synectics and, we'll do a little assignment together, also later in the process. So for example, here we are. So ideation using synectics and we are designing a clothesline clip. वो जो अपना कपड़े को लगाते हैं गीला कपड़ा, so that when the kapda is gila, it is heavy, it doesn't fly off. But when it dries off, it becomes light and they can fly off. So you need clips for the clothes. So here we have the clips. So look at the first one, alligator. The boy taking inspiration from alligator. So he is making an alligator clip. Okay, and look at the teeth in the clip, look at all the thing. Okay, here for example, he's taking a symbolic analogy. This is not a direct analogy, to some extent, where, for example, this particular, this particular plant which has thorns can, you have these, paper going and sticking to the plant, or can have similar type of design for a clip, where my, rope has multiple things and, it goes and sticks like a clamp. So you have a different type of analogy over here. And of course, you have something called, a personal analogy, like you have you can also call it a direct analogy, where you have a dog holding your cloth from not flying. A completely different type of, thought process. So you're using synectics to completely, unground yourself to look at new things. So let me now quickly define the methods of synectics. The first method is called the personal analogy. You yourself become the product. For example, how if I hold the cloth like this, it will not fly with both my fingers. So you have a analogy where you need to hold from the side. The tips are on the side, not on the top, because you want to hold it. That's a personal analogy where you yourself are imagining that you are part of the part of the solution. You become part of the solution. So that's called the personal analogy. You can think of those analogies to begin things. For example, like you can think of various like conditions in which you yourself become the product or yourself become the aspect of the product. Then, for example, we have we talked about the symbolic analogy where you have thorns on the plants and the leaves are getting stuck. Similarly, can you have some interesting situation where your clothes are getting stuck and they don't fly off? Symbolic. And of course, you have the fantasy analogy. This is the most powerful analogy. You fantasize. You can say that my clothes are hung and lock ho ja sim sim and the cloth should be locked. It's a fantasy, right? So fantasy analogy can lead to tremendous amount of creativity, where, then you said, oh, in the fantasy analogy, the if I take a wand and, beat on the thread, the cloth should get locked. So we'll show you how these things happen, one by one. So here we have, then of course, a lot of clustering of ideas, a lot of ideas are made. Clustering is very important aspect. I'll show you a little later. In some of the ideas where you build a lot of ideas using these analogies of springs, of other solutions, of weightlifting, and multiple ideas you can build. And of course you can these are a little bit advanced, but I want to quickly tell you how the maybe clustering is done to some extent. So what happens, students, that I will also share with all of you some of the videos to make you understand. If you have 100 ideas, how do you make 3 concepts out of it? Look at these 100 ideas. These 100 ideas have been divided into 4 clusters. The first cluster is a self-logging, magnetic, and gravity-based cluster, where everything is gravity-based. The clip is falling. So all that similar type of ideas get clustered. And these are done in the design thinking way. You have to make idea cards and you have to start allotting these ideas. Oh, you see the idea. Oh, this looks like it will go. There's no hard and fast rule, but you say it looks like it goes to cluster 1. This looks like it goes to cluster 2. And then you give the name to the cluster. So similarly, look at the wire concept. Today, some of my IIT Hyderabad MD students are with us here, also in the course, and they're doing a wire assignment where they're doing a very interesting assignment of depicting Navarasas in wire. But anyway, this is the wires which are using using as a clip here. Then the third one is using spring-based techniques. So you look at the mechanisms and you build these clusters. So all the ideas are grouped into 4 different clusters, and from the clusters, then you build the cluster representatives, and from that you build your concept. See, so these are the 3 concepts where you add all your ideas together and build some wonderful concept. All close and clear. Look at this concept where the thread is going down and these are rolling on
these are always available on the rope, and you just move them and and add the clip on, and you lock the lock the sort of lock the thread. And this is a talent clip. So you will see further. I will go in details. Then a very, very important stage in creativity. In fact, De Bono also talks about this stage where you use different materials to do the mock-ups. Make the strange familiar, make the familiar strange. Very important component in creativity. You can see how the mock-up models are made of every clip. Look at this second one. In the second one, these are always this is the opening in the clip where there's an opening in the center and the locking happens. In fact, I myself am doubtful how the locking will happen because there's no slit in the middle. Maybe he has forgotten to put the slit, but this is the locking which will lock the thread. This is the locking which is because of the hole. The thread is very good. There's one more locking here which is a flip-flop locking. So very interesting, and you don't ask much questions during this time to develop the ideas further. And then you go further and you do something called enacting. You use your cloth, you put it together, and you see how the product works, different type of configurations. And then of course you make the familiar strange and strange familiar. You use 10 20 times the size and check what's happening. You use different materials to see what's happening and imagine that the clip is working. That imaginary situation is very, very important in the design phase and in the creativity phase and in the design thinking phase, where you make the strange familiar and the familiar strange. And of course further reactions on the renderings part come down to your. This is one student who is now currently she is the she was working in BMW as the head designer. Now this girl I think somewhere she's a consultant in Europe now, where her clips are these are the 3 cluster representatives she made, and of course selected the final one and built the mock-up there, and these are some other ideas. Roll on clips, very interesting idea. Another student worked on this, and there's a talent clip. And this is the most favorite of mine, which is the fantasy analogy. Now look at the cross section of the rope. This is the rope. And on the rope, you have a rubber sleeve, which is 2 mm thick. And this rubber sleeve have these grippers. So what's happening with the grippers now? I'll show you a little bit. This is that other clip, which is the talent press and lock. Press and lock again. And this is that magic wand analogy. So what you do in the magic wand, you put the cloth on the top, you take a small wand and you whack, you say lock ho ja sim, and you put that magic wand, the thin wand, and you lock it, and all the cloth is locked. And when you pull out, the rope comes up. So when it comes up, the pores open and your cloth is out. You can pull the cloth out, and when with the weight of the cloth can get locked by the magic wand. So this is fantasy analogy can give you some wonderful. So there's no clip here. The thread itself becomes the design. Then we showed this design to the best the company Ciba Geigy, when we told them you will make elastomer. This is the best elastomer application. And they were very, very excited. But somehow we couldn't follow up with them to take it forward. So this is the magic wand design. This is the metal, very interesting clip design. This is again cloth holding clip, multiple prototypes. This is again one of my favorites. You have your paper clip, but this is a twist clip where you just have to twist and put the lock in. And it is so good to use and so easy to implement. And I don't see these clips in the market at all.
we need to build some clips which are very useful. These are some elaborate, clips which lock from the side for heavy clothes. This is an interesting analogy again, where you use pneumatic. So you press on the top and the bottom closes. And you again press in the middle, the bottom opens. Are you following, students? This is an airtight jacket, and there's a cage in the middle. You press the top and you press in the bottom, the valve opens, and again it becomes open like this. So very, very interesting, design detail, which is a pneumatic clip. And in the sun, the expansion is more. The more the sun, the more hard the clip will hold your cloth, till you don't press the center to release it. And of course, a pneumatic clip. So see, look at the technology from springs to, plastic to, like pneumatic to silicons, you can think of, the clothesline clips in a wide variety of materials. So I thought I'll just show you this creative journey of understanding. So, colleagues, if you want to really train people in creativity, as colleagues, some of you are teachers here, please, motivate students and all to come up with multiple ideas, and of course, build a lot of mock-ups, use a lot of materials together. And if your students, there's no easy way out, we have to get our act together. We have to build these CAD models and design processes very intricate with special creative techniques, where I talked about these analogies. I talked about making the strange familiar and familiar strange, and of course doing a lot of mock-up models. And from all my experience, when you build a mock-up model, it is 4 times more creative than a sketch. And it's always well established. So now let me quickly, we are running out of time, but let me quickly show you because we also have to do an assignment with all of you on some creative let me see if my let me show you the spoons and close the presentation there, and then open up the I think the spoons presentation is somewhere at the back. So because I started with the spoons, I thought I will just show you the results over there with the same type of, very simple products, but how can we, really think of innovation at that level? So here we are, remember, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so here we are. So let me full screen. Yeah, so we went ahead with the plan. One second. Yeah, so here we are. So in fact, this is the multiple ideas and same type of design thinking. Please, colleagues, I'll just share all these presentations with you. Please keep that in mind on how we need to take things forward. Cluster the ideas into 3 different sections. See the clustering here. The first cluster is a cluster where all of them have got some type of straight handle, some type of spout, which looks similar. So when you sort the cards, they all fall in one category. The second one have some interesting handle shapes and interesting situations. So they all because of the shapes of the handles, he has put as cluster 2. And cluster 3 is all about mix, a lot of ribs here and there, and they don't fall in any of these 2. So they made a cluster 3. So clustering is a very, very important component of ideation. So after clustering, you select one cluster representative, and once you selected one cluster representative, you actually take that inspiration from all the other spoons into that one cluster, and build one concept. So this is the first concept of a spoon for a child, 2 to 5-year-old child. Similarly, then you have cluster 2, add all the ideas. So just imagine, students, if you have 10 ideas in one cluster, you take one representative which is very, very good, and you add all the other ideas to that, you become 10 by 10. You become that much more creative. You added all the ideas to that one cluster to make it very powerful. So look at this cluster representative, which is an enclosed handle. So you build all the others. Look at that hole in the first idea. So you build a hole into this. You build a spout into that. You build a handle feature into that. So you build you try to build even emotively, analogically also you could build. For example, here it's a handle, but in this case, we don't want to, add a handle because jeopardize this. So you will, create a very interesting, profile rather than creating a removable handle. Then look at this big bend over here. So this big bend, you will not use it as a big bend, but this big bend is helping you to feed. So you will adjust the spout to, suit the big bend. So it's not a direct idea representation, but you're taking a analogical interpretation also, as well as a direct interpretation, wherever the case may be. So that way you can take things forward. And here we are. So here, see, for example, we have the idea development. Look at how the idea has been developed. See, the spout I was telling you has been pushed forward. There are these play holes, and then this concept is become very interesting for the kids spoon. And of course, this is the final concept too. And of course, is the third representation. Same technique. Use one representative, put everything together, and come up with the aspect, and make it happen. And then this is a very important technique of creativity, where you use different materials for mock-up. You use a wire to make a spoon mock-up. My students were perplexed. They said, "Sir, wire se spoon kaise banayenge?" मैं बोला, नहीं बनाना पड़ेगा. So when you make with a wire, you're just using the outlines and the design thinking. Colleagues, a lot of time in design thinking, there is no logic behind you doing it, because you're doing all this for creative surge. And the creative surge comes because of all these processes. So you make out of wire and experience the three-dimensional shape. You make out of paper and experience the three-dimensional shape. You make up out of aluminum and experience the shape. Look at how when he made in paper, he made the strip, he made the stiffness, he made the spouts. Because of that, the project is growing. And then when you are made in wood, what will happen? When you make in solid thermocol, what will happen? Look at this. None of the spoons are working, right? They can't work. They're just creative mock-ups. And that is a very, very important aspect of design thinking, where you have to build creative mock-ups. And of course, you do enacting, you play, you say how it is going to work, muh mein kaise jayega, how will you pick up things in a very interesting way, in a playful way. Okay. So all other concepts, and finally you make the, you understand all the things, and
Sir,
do the, yeah, go ahead.
I had a question in
Yeah,
this.
please tell me.
While making these models with different material,
Yeah.
do we also consider some sort of iterations in mind, like if we get to experience something which is not going really well with the particular product, so do we iterate then and there, or do we like
Because when you're
go
building those wire models, no, you are building the wire model. So then, for example, when you're building the wire model, you're actually working on the envelope of the spoon, right? On the profile of the
right,
spoon. See, that's the whole beauty behind this assignment. So when you work on the profile, "Arey, ye band nahi ho raha hai." Oh, what? Then the wire you are winding around the handle. When you wind the wire around the handle, oh, you know that that's the area I need strength. So a lot of thing is psychological, a lot of thing is emotive. आप
right,
समझ रहे हो ना? तो जब मैं
actually,
रियल स्पून बनाऊंगा, मैं वो जॉइंट को विजुअली स्ट्रांग बनाऊंगा. आप समझ रहे हो ना?
right,
मैंने वो वायर को वहां पर बांधा है
right,
ना, because when I had to make with the wire, I had to tie that wire around that small, nose, sorry, small neck. So these are the interesting things which we can't somehow tell, but they are not very logical processes, but they're very creative processes.
right,
So you build this mock-up, and you're doing this for your personal gain. You're doing this for your own thought processes. You're not doing it for
right.
somebody else. And then you come up with the idea. So that is the whole beauty in the design thinking process. That's the reason why it's so difficult to teach design thinking till you don't experience yourself. But this our point was to show you the technique and make you do it and make your students do it. So that is the whole purpose of how we take things forward. So now look at the how the sketch is further improved. You can see the quality of the paper here. You can see the quality of the solid model here. You can see the quality of the wire here. Are you can see all the three things coming together. Your exploratory models, no?
Yes, sir.
And then you make mock-up models which are very close to the final model. And then you, of course, you say you try to refine, you try to play with it, and you say, oh, why should I have so much? Can I reduce it? Then you say, no, no, let me go back. Because children will play, right? 2 to 5 year old kids are supposed to play with the spoon. They're going to eat with the spoon. You're going to feed them. It's a multiple type of things. Then you select one option and you go forward with your final. And finally, this one, the design award, this spoon. This boy, Sarang Kushle is currently the head of design in Crompton Greaves, and this won a good design award for the kids' spoon. See how interesting it is? Yeah, students and colleagues, please, any other questions you have from the things I showed you right now?
So there's the one question, like why colostry? What is the importance of choosing the representative? Like you said, you need to choose one representative from each
Which
colostry.
one? The
While sorting, you need to create clusters, right? And then you need to choose a
Yes, yes.
am I audible?
So you need to
Yeah.
you choose
So
you have to choose a representative. No, yeah. Oh, that's
right,
very important
yeah.
process because you have a brief, right? You have a brief.
Right.
The representative will match all the brief. Like, अरे spoon for the 2 to 3 year old में कौन सा सबसे बढ़िया better है?
Oh, that's for the bit, right?
The representative, you take like saying the representative you take that's out of your own of the context and ending of there. Yeah. Any other question? Any other discussion point?
Sir,
So
I
I had a
believe
question.
there is some network issue at your end, or
I couldn't hear you.
No problem. Yeah.
Yes,
Anybody
sir.
else? Yeah. Somebody was speaking
Yes,
just.
sir. I had a question.
Tell me, Deepti.
So the process started with sort of illogical analogies, as you said. So
Yes.
where is the point where we start to bring in actual logic into it? Is it where we choose the cluster representatives?
Exactly. You can choose a cluster representative and then build that representative using the ideas again using analogy. So you're actually going back and when you're choosing something, you're the logical process. When you're building, you're on the right hand side of the brain. When are you evaluating, you're on the left hand side again. You're saying मुझे check करनी है. So when you're doing wire models, you're on the right side of the brain. You're just building models. When you're doing the mock-up model, you're getting your logical process back. क्योंकि मुझे वो spoon use करनी है ना बच्चों के लिए. So you saw this whole process. Very good question, Deepti. You saw this whole process of going creative, going logical, going creative, going logical. The more number of times you do this, you can come up with completely out of the box solutions.
Yes, sir. Got it.
So anyone else, colleagues and students? Some of you people are not talking at all. Arnab Mandal, are you there? Ankita Tiwari ji, aap hain? So where are the other? I'm used to calling names in my class. Generally, I call out the names and I say, "Are you there? How are you?" So please, let us because now we have got this assignment coming up. I would, I'm wondering how we can go about doing that assignment, being such a large class. How many participants are there? Oh, we have 136 participants. That's quite a challenge.
Sir, is there any online courses? Sir, is there any online
Yeah, I have
courses
got
there?
online courses. Yeah, it's Swayam. So I will put the link for you. You just have to say innovation by design. I'll put on the chat. You go to the Swayam portal and you put my name. You'll get 2 courses: the design technology innovation and the innovation by design. In fact, Merlin is here. She has taken one of my courses and she says, "Sir, I've seen this earlier and that inspired me to take up design." So you are welcome to take those courses. I will pass the full link to Shubhajit so he can mail it to all of you.
Okay, sir.
Right? Yeah. So we could do that. That will be very informative for you, and you can use all those videos for your classes. In fact, let me share that email with you right away, so that you are aware of how to go about doing it. Give me a second. Yeah, here it is. So let me share it again. Colleagues, here is the email. I don't know whether you have a group email here. I will, send this email right away to Shubhadeep. We have a lot of other courses. Is it visible or should I enlarge it further?
So enlarge.
We'll have to enlarge. I'll send you the email or I'll paste it on the chat. It's easier. So these are the two courses which are with the links. So that's easier. So what happens is in these courses, it's on the Swayam platform, and there are two levels of courses. So where where your inputs, for example, on the chat, if you see, I put on the chat, you can always say there's one course which is called the credit course, and there's one course which is called the open course. So if you take the open course, you can use it as part of your schedule in your classes. Students can use it at their own level. And in the credit course, what happens? It only starts at a particular date. So on that date, it starts and ends in 4 weeks or whatever. And there's an exam conducted by NPTEL. So it's for university which is accepting, open courses for their credit. And this is done very, very carefully with proctored exams across the country. And also that is the credit course which is there. And it's also available as a faculty development program courses. So I put it, I put on the chat so you could, quickly have a look. Has it gone from the chat? It has reached you people?
Yes, sir. We've received.
So
We received, no? Yeah. So okay, you can see that link, and you can check on the chat of how things are moving. So students, let us quickly do a creative assignment, because without doing hands-on work, if there's any design thinking workshop, it is completely unacceptable. So I want you to choose any simple product you're using around you quickly, and maybe some of you can lift those products up for me, with your videos on any one product. So there we have Rukminia has chosen one toy, right? Oh, that's a toy, which a moving toy. Very good. And Ananya, what is this? What have you chosen? And what is this one? Nandini, what have you chosen? Bag.
It's a pouch, pencil pouch.
Very good, very good, excellent. So you've chosen all these, products. So please keep your cameras on. So please, colleagues and students, all of you choose any one usable product next to you very quickly. Like I have chosen a cup. I have chosen a cup. So the cup is next to me. So I've chosen a cup, and then chosen Rama. What is this?
So it's a measuring tape.
So your voice is breaking.
Or even signal could be vacation, because I put our cameras on. I need to do a better. It's very close to my. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. When you put the cameras on, it's very, very tough. You're right. So it's really tough. Yeah. So I think I'm able to hear. Yeah. Please, let us not go to online mode now. So go back, stop your cameras, or I have lost all of you. Nandini, you still see me?
So no, we can't see you. We are switching off. Now we can see you, but your video is lagging a little.
Yeah. Please switch off. Yeah. Please choose your. No, let us not get in there. Please choose your. Sort of products. Switch off your cameras. Otherwise, we are getting out of hand over here. And Dr. Janardhan, what have you chosen? Just put your voice on. That's all. Don't show me the
spectacle case, sir.
What have you chosen?
Spectacle case.
Oh, lovely spectacle case. Very good. Very usable case. So now, students and colleagues, all of you, for example, Take any other thing around you, computer monitor, glass, any other product which is not related to this, just next to you. All of you pick up any other product. Okay? It could be a book, it could be a keyboard, it could be a mouse, it could be a lamp, anything else which is next to you. Yeah, you all have taken that. So you have your product and you have this other product next to you. So the first product you picked up is what you're designing. So now you have to creatively design this product using the inspiration of what you picked up, which is next to you. Okay? So like let us see, so you have let us ask Shubhasri. Shubhasri, what have you picked up? We're not able to hear you.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, Shubhasri, tell us what is it? What are you designing?
Speaker.
And what were you designing?
I was designing speaker, and then I picked up a pencil. So I think they are two
Oh,
very
lovely.
different.
You're designing a computer speaker and you picked up a pencil, right?
Yes.
So now I take inspiration of the pencil to design the next generation speaker.
Yes.
So my pencil को मैं छीलता हूँ ना. I do my to get my pencil lead out. So what will I do with a speaker to get the new song out? Oh, so can I turn the speaker to get the next song?
Yes.
So you see how the creativity
and then maybe
flows?
we can flip it somewhere, like very easy to like hang. And
Yeah. So your speaker is becoming very slim and thin.
With
You're
the
taking the form inspiration. You can take the form inspiration. You can take the functional inspiration where your pencil lead will come out only when you turn, when you use a sharpener. So can your speaker now start, when you start turning the speaker physically, the song should change.
Yes.
Because the song to the speaker is equal to the lead to the pencil. Got it?
Yes.
So like that, you have to keep on thinking and you start coming up with a new speaker inspired by the pencil. So quickly take out your papers. All of you, let us see, Prachi, what have you chosen? Subhashri, now other colleagues will take this analogy. So you are going to map this and creatively design your products using the inspiration from this. Don't have any other constraints.
So earlier I took this earplugs, wire one, and then I chose this compass. So
very good. So you are designing earplugs and your inspiration is the compass. Got it? So compass is used to, compass has got this hinge. Compass, has this movable hinge as an adjustment to do different diagrams. How can you change volume in your earplug by moving angle? Why should there be a button? मैं उसको ऐसे करूंगा तो मेरा वॉल्यूम बढ़ना चाहिए. तो ऐसे करके आपको बिल्कुल मैपिंग करनी है. ठीक है? So can you please start doing that informal mapping? Let us talk to each one. Shanu, what have you chosen?
So I have chosen this mobile stand, and the second one is LED bulb, USB
Lovely.
LED bulb.
So you've taken a mobile stand and an LED bulb. What is the function of the LED bulb? How is it working? Is it slim? Is it flexible? So is your mobile fan flexible? So you have to adopt the illogical to the logical.
Yeah. Like okay. Yes.
So you try to map, let it will fool us, na? Arey kaise lik sakta inspiration. So let it fool you, and once it is fooling you, try to bring in some logic and use, like the way I was trying to bring logic for the speaker, ना यार. मैं pencil sharpener से sharpen करूँगा तो मेरा lead निकलता है. तो मेरा song कैसे निकलेगा speaker में से? तो घुमाऊँगा तो निकलेगा song, for example. तो I come up with a completely new design. अरे मैं घुमाऊँगा speaker को, मेरा music आना चाहिए. किसी ने सोचा नहीं अभी तक ऐसा speaker. जो मैं ऊपर से घुमाऊँगा तो मेरा गाना बदलते रहेगा ना? Why not, यार? So that's a completely new design. So you keep thinking like that and you start sketching your new ideas. Okay, you start sketching your new ideas, and I don't know how we can submit, but anyway, we will work out, and I will request you to submit these ideas. All of you start sketching. Aman, what have you chosen?
I chose this laptop cleaning device.
Oh, you chose that. Very good. That pneumatic laptop cleaning is the first product. What's the second product?
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings book.
Yeah.
So Lord of the Rings book, and this, oh my, what happens when you read the book? What happens when you keep the page folded? What happens? So in your cleaning surface, this cleaning should become like an ambu bag. You should have multiple folds. So to get more power in your cleaner, you should have more folds. You're following? So I will have to So I have a new laptop cleaner with multiple folds bag rather than a single fold, so I can get much better air like a piano, no, push, push, like that.
Sir, I
So
have
you,
mapped here.
yeah,
So I have taken like water bottle is my inspiration. Can you see here?
yeah,
So
yeah.
water bottle with a spectacle case. Now I have designed the shape of water bottle as a spectacle case, where that water bottle cap it is going to pull that respective spectacle when you open like.
So you
So I
combine,
can
you
take that.
combine, you combine, Janardhan. So one way is combining, but you're not combining the spectacle and the water bottle. You're using the spectacle case to design a new water bottle.
No, I have designed a spectacle case by using by inspiring from water bottles.
So I'll tell you. So the water bottle has a cap, right? So
Yes.
your
If you see this design,
your spectacle
so
case,
same.
lovely. This is exactly correct. Very good. So you're using the water bottle cap to put your spectacle inside, right?
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Same cap, when I take it out, the spectacles also will come.
Along with the cap. Very good. That's a very good analogy. Nobody has thought of such a. There's a completely new design. Nobody has thought of spectacle case like that. Very good. Very good. So anybody else who's come up with any new design? You want to show your sketches?
Yes, sir.
Then we take some questions. Yeah.
Ananya.
Ananya, tell me. Ananya, can you talk first and then we take the next?
Yeah, sir, I'm talking. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Ananya. Be a little loud.
So, yes, sir. So I was having this issue of this lens case, and they are very, they're very cumbersome to use. There's a lot of hand contact. So I
And your
combined it with a bottle. I tried to combine it with a bottle and tried to make something like this, which is the case where I can just, drop my lens in my hand and don't have to use my fingers.
Very true, very, because bottle cap opening, bottle slender, the profile, no, slenderness of the bottle. You can use the form, you can use the function. Very good, very good. So you now saw that with this one small example, which is called the most creative ones, is generally the ones which are indirect or which are analogies which are not related.
Yeah.
So we went to the toughest analogy, which is not related. The easiest analogy is I'm designing a water bottle inspired by water waves, for example. Water and water is direct analogy, but still I get a very good bottle. So those are direct analogies which are not wrong, but here we are looking at very good analogies. So like all of you have to make up with these two, you have to build a completely new product with a new idea, whatever you chose next to you, and all of you have to submit the sketches with us. You have to build it up. Let us see. We have Malti also showing something. Malti, you can put your speaker on.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a spoon actually.
Okay.
It's a kind of a geriatric aid we can use.
Okay.
And this is a kind of drone.
So what was your inspiration? You took the spoon and you took the what was your assignment you did right now? What was your inspiration?
A drone spoon.
Okay.
So kind of fantasy.
Oh, lovely.
There's a piston here. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a spoon here, and there's a piston here. In case we need to push it down, they cannot move the tongue or the mouth properly. Down. And the spoon can wait till the person has eaten what is inside the mouth. And there is a sensor attached to the end, and this can identify the mouth and the food particles inside. And it can identify if it has been swallowed properly. Only
and then again release.
Swallowed, the next dose will be put in. And we can adjust the servings also, the weight of how much is to be served in one group.
Oh, fabulous, Malti. Very good. So with Malti's assignment, now we have got the next thing. The same product now. See, you all are done. You took one product, you took one inspiration. The next one is fantasy, like what Malti did. So you take the same thing, the spectacle case in case of the contact lens case in case of Malti, and then Ananya took the whatever. All of you take the same thing, and then you fantasize. And then you realize you'll use the topmost technologies in it. You all try to do that also as your assignment. So we are doing 2 assignments today. These are all your homework. Please think about it. The same product, don't change the product, please. Don't take whatever you are today, whatever you chose as a first product. Like for example, you take that, we chose a one product, and we did the analogy and did one assignment. The second assignment is same product if it is fantasized. For example, the spectacle case, he want to fantasize the spectacle case should open itself, or the spectacle case should fly to his eyes, the spectacle case should be invisible, the spectacle case should not be there at all. So there could be so much of fantasy in the spectacle case. So what will be the design that will really fox you quite a bit and actually will motivate you to become very, very creative? So that is excellent. I think we are nearly end of our session. So these 2 assignments, all of you have to do, and you have to we are going to put a drive folder. All of you have to upload on the drive. I will share the drive folder with you. You have to quickly photograph with your mobile, and you have to upload over there on the drive. These 2, one is the fantasy analogy and another one is the indirect analogy. We call it the symbolic or the indirect. There's no relationship with the product, the completely new one. So we'll take some more questions before we close today.
Sir, when we supposed to submit this segment? Today?
I will send you the drive link. I will send you the drive link, very quickly. One open drive link. Shubhajit, can you please create a Gmail drive link for us separately? Shubhajit is there?
Yes.
Or, Govind, are you there? My TA or our class representative? Govind or Gokul? Govind, can you quickly create a, drive link, which is, you've got a lot of space so that, we can have it somewhere?
Yes, sir. I'm sharing in this.
You share the link, drive link over there with open access so that everybody can post their, images there.
Right, sir. Okay.
Thanks. So we're going to give you on the chat, we're going to give you a link. Please copy that link onto your desktop somewhere, because when the class gets over, you lose the chat. So you could submit your 1-page sketches, quick sketches, not too much of detail, quick analogies. Oh, if this is happening here, this is happening like this. Oh, if this is like, oh, what can this be? Like that. The questions have to be, if it is fantasy, oh my, like how can I, fantasize about this? How can this, be invisible? How can this, fly and come to me? Like, like we can, so you can use the craziest of ideas, because there's no limitation over here to build all that.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, as you were saying that about the fantasy part of it, so can the functionality be a fantasy or to be form based?
Yeah, it can be. No, it can be functional, it can be form, it can be physical, all of them can, or it can be any of them. Because the functionality, when it becomes fantasy, things will vanish, no? For example, he's got a spectacle case and he wants to now fantasize the spectacle case. मुझे spectacle की जरूरत ही नहीं होना चाहिए. उसने चश्मा निकाला और चश्मा उड़ गया. अपना चश्मा निकाला और he wants to store his spectacles, right? तो मैंने चश्मा निकाला और चश्मा उड़ के रूफ पे चला गया, और मेरे को जब चाहिए तब वापस आ गया मेरे पास. फैंटेसी है ना. So it's like that. So basically you can fantasize the function also, you can fantasize the form also, because his product was a spectacle box. और spectacle box में मैं चश्मा को रखने को यूज करता हूँ ना, and then of course it can fold and get into your pocket automatically, or you can so you to fantasize in a very interesting way, and you can think of very, very crazy ideas. And generally I notice whenever you fantasize, you come up with very, very high tech solutions. When you don't fantasize, you come up with regular solutions. When you fantasize, your solutions are, oh god, यार तुमको तो science fiction हो जाना पड़ेगा वो time में ना. So then you get very, very interesting solutions. Yeah, so very good.
So I had a question. So
Yeah,
when we creatively put down our ideas, sometimes our brain is so fast that we know that this is not practically possible. So to the first
Don't
stage,
stop
do
the
we still put down those ideas and then discard them at the next level, or?
बिल्कुल रमा, वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन. तुम तो बिल्कुल अपने ब्रेन का वॉचमैन को ही तो हम लोग सुला रहे हैं यार. तो ब्रेन का वॉचमैन को सुलाने का ही काम कर रहे हैं हम लोग. सो डोंट लेट द वॉचमैन इन द ब्रेन वेक अप. So all these things is to fool the watchman in the brain who will not let us be creative. You got it? So our watchman who keeps saying, "यार ये नहीं हो सकता, ये नहीं हो सकता, ये क्या, तो पागल है क्या, कैसे काम करेगा?" तो उसको बोला, नहीं तू चुप बैठ, मुझे बस sketch करनी है. So the whole idea is to be, is to keep our perception, because the human body, human mind wants to be efficient यार. रिस्क नहीं लेना चाहता human mind भी. जैसे आप घर अगर जाओगे ना, हर वक्त एक ही तरफ से घर जाओगे. आप अगर कुछ काम करोगे एक ही जैसे करोगे, क्योंकि वो हर दिन नया चीज नहीं करना चाहते यार, अपना स्ट्रेस हो जाता है. जैसे मैं खुद देख रहा था, मैं अपना जब आईआईटी बॉम्बे में अपना घर को एक ही डायरेक्शन में जाता था हर वक्त. दो है 2-3 ways to go. I used to always go in the same route because मैं लास्ट टाइम वो रूट में गया, मुझे कुछ नहीं हुआ, अच्छा पहुंच गया, तो मैं दूसरे रूट में क्यों जाऊं आज. तो आई यूज्ड टू फोर्स माई सेल्फ कि मैं अभी इधर से जाऊंगा, उधर से जाऊंगा. सो आई यूज्ड टू जस्ट टू बिकम मोर क्रिएटिव. आई विल नेवर गो इन द सेम रूट आई गो एवरी डे, फॉर एग्जांपल. So that is the way to train ourselves to keep on thinking new things. You got it, Rama? So our mind actually doesn't want to do new things. It always wants to do standard, easy, less effort. ना, तो वो हम लोग को रिस्क नहीं होना चाहिए ना यार, कुछ हो जाएगा, रास्ते पे जाएंगे तो उधर से कुछ नहीं हुआ, कल आज भी कुछ नहीं होगा, तो वही जो चक्कर है अपने पास पूरा. So we call it the watchman in the brain. So you keep all the watchmen to sleep, and then and to make them sleep, you're doing all these illogical things. How can you take inspiration of a water bottle for a like for example lens case, or how can you take inspiration of a water bottle for a spectacle case? ना कुछ मतलब नहीं है. So because of that inspiration, you're able to fox your mind to become creative. So just imagine we are foxing our mind, and if you use this technique, your creativity will grow straight away 20-30%. So हम लोग अपना, I had a PhD student who we worked on this for 9 years on this, and we finally got it out, and I'll make her come sometime to talk to all of you. So thank you so much, participants. And tomorrow night, day after tomorrow, I think my IIT Hyderabad students may not be there with me. I think you're also there day after tomorrow, no? My class is there day after tomorrow also. So all of us will meet on the collaborative innovation part. How to collaborate now. Okay, that is a very important journey in design thinking and product development. We'll meet up day after tomorrow again. No, okay then, bye. Subhajit, are you there, or Subhajit student, are you there?
Sir, yes sir, I'm Shantanu sir, I'm there.
Yeah, very good, very good. So please see the link sent by Govind, my class representative is also here today. Thanks to everybody for joining in and sharing your things. Please, all of you have to put up generally we say आप जब तक सबमिट नहीं करोगे आपको अटेंडेंस नहीं मिलेगा. So your submission of your paper is your attendance for today. Okay, so we want all the two pages of images from each student, and please put your name below the your file name is your name of your your name is part of your file name when you upload onto the drive.
So can you change the scale of the object what we are taking as inspiration?
Yeah. You can. Yeah. There's no logical process. It is giving you creative ideas, so you can do everything.
Okay.
So we are actually trying to fox the brain ना. So कोई logical process नहीं है इसमें. बाद में हम लोग logic लेके आएंगे ना, जैसे अपना student बोल रहे थे. ठीक है. So okay, then IIT Hyderabad students, we'll catch up with all of you again. We'll take a 10 minutes break. I'll see you in the GMAT at 12 o'clock. And all the best for my other participants who are where the next colleague is coming to teach you. Bye then. I'm exiting. And IIT
Bye,
Hyderabad
sir.
students.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Bye. So other people can continue, for your
Thank you, sir.
lecture. Bye.
Our next meeting will be scheduled on 12 o'clock.
Excuse me, sir, you're not audible.
Saying next session will be